first floor, Seton Hall. Just have some more.
Ready whenever you are?
Go for it.
Is it okay with the glasses if I take it off, the mask? 6 feet. Look good.
He's 6 feet away, so. it's
6 feet,
looking
you're good.
dude.
Appreciate
It's
it.
good looking dude over
Appreciate
here.
it. All right. Well, thank you both of you for coming. And I think it's very important that you guys came to this because so many students we see often wait till it's too late to figure out what they want to do. I was one of those students. I waited very late. When I first came to the Mount, I wanted to be a physical therapist, study biology, eventually work for New York Yankees, New York Knicks, something like that. And my aspirations were there, my work was there, but the transition to college is what really hurt me. First time living on a college campus, first time living with roommates, first time, just being my own type of person. I was like I said, biology major, and I studied biology. On December 23rd, I checked my final grades. I got an F in biology, my first F ever. I was always like an 85 student, and right there, my mom literally said, either you figure it out, or I'm gonna take you out. And I'm Hispanic as well, so my mom don't play that. Like, she don't play no games. And one thing with that as well, I was playing basketball here. I played 4 years here, and I was fortunate to go play overseas, play pro. And my coach at the time, Coach Nigro, he said, I see you got an F. I can't let you play. So now I'm like, all right, academics is not working out. Athletics is not working out. Maybe this college thing isn't for me, right? Maybe I'm going to be that statistic of the students who drop out. Maybe that's the statistic I'm going to be. But that inner drive, I didn't want to be that. So Coach Nigro said, go check out business. Go see what you could probably figure out over there. All right, I went over there. I literally went to Dr. Aversano's office. She didn't know me, I didn't know her, but I said, I need to talk to you. And I'm crying, I'm upset. My coach told me to come here. I don't know what I'm gonna do. She's like, first of all, relax, stop crying. We're gonna figure this out. Here's this exact same paper. Here are the courses you're gonna take, and you're gonna be a business major. And I said, all right, well, I have no other option. So I'm looking forward to being a business major. And literally in January of 2015, that's when I switched and got my first business classes. I took Principles of Management, which is a common core business class, just understanding the basic realms of business. And I took it with Professor Diaz. He works in computer services. His name is Manny Diaz. And then I took Principles of Marketing as well, which I believe was with Professor Rosenberg. And it was specifically Professor Rosenberg's class that the light kind of struck in my head, because I was literally using what I was learning in class for something that I started here, which is a nonprofit program called BU Stay True. So I was literally learning how to market in his class, and 4 hours later I was applying that and trying to make it work with my own business. So it was cool for me to see that business was one of the majors here that you could directly use from the classroom into real life. And we see everybody on Instagram, they got their own lash business, kicks business, whatever, right? But they're not taking the classes for that. So how are they really learning? They're learning from looking at other people and things like that. But the opportunity to connect with people who are successful in business from younger till now is right here. Why not talk to these people, right? And I think there's a big difference in terms of business departments and the other departments on campus, because either they're retired or they're done with their expertise and now they're just falling in love with the passion of teaching. These people right here are still in their passion, and they're doing this as well on top of it type of thing. Eventually, it continued to click with me even more. I took more classes in business. I took international business with Dr. Nina Aversano, which was awesome in terms of just understanding how not only America works, but the whole world works in terms of business and what's allowed and things like that. So that was eye-opening as well. And then I continued just to take higher level courses that were just fun to me. Class was no longer a drag. Like, oh, I have to go to class. I have to go to an 8 a.m. class. I had Professor Rosenberg's debate class at 10 a.m. and I was hyped. I was meeting up with teammates before in the cafeteria. And we're not losing this debate because we have to be ready to win. So just the opportunity for me to make class a little bit more fun was important to me, because obviously I have that athletics background. And then what was important to me as well was, how am I going to use this business degree after? So I started looking at options for grad school and things like that. And of course, that's later options. But the opportunity to really use what you learn, not only in real world, but for your graduate degree too, is something that's literally synchronous. You can continue to use everything you're learning as kind of like foundational blocks. I was also fortunate to go study abroad in Limerick, Ireland, and get a master's in marketing. So I took Principles of Marketing in 2015. I took International Business. I took other classes. I was using what I was learning from them and using it in my graduate course. So the understanding of the full circle moments really come all the time with the business department. And I think as undecided majors, sophomore, and what about you, Jude? Freshman? I think you're in a really great time, because if I could go back to 2014, I would have wished I was undecided, because I would have had more time to do things like this and to gain more opinions. I was young, I just wanted to figure it out on my own. Mom, I don't need you, right? That type of thing. But it's important to build the connections here. And on the admission side, I talk about it all the time. The professors are literally here at 4:41 when they don't have to be here, right? Because they want to help the students. So it's important to have the conversations with me, important to have the conversations with them, and just continue to learn about your options here at Mount St. Vincent, right? Of course, we want you in the business department, right, to continue to further your career here at Mount St. Vincent. Ultimately, we just want to make sure that Mount St. Vincent is the right fit for both of you. Okay? To you, thank you for the opportunity to be here. And of course, if you guys have any questions about my time or anything like that, feel free to ask. And if not, you could come to see it and we'll talk about it. Okay? Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Andrew's a lifer, we never let him out. So it's the way it goes.
That's what I said at the meeting. I said, I'm a lifer.
Every time you try to sleep, you just bring you right back.
Yeah.
Do you ladies have any questions of Andrew? He's here on campus, so you can certainly go stop by and visit.
I know plenty of people here, so if you want to connect on social media or anything, LinkedIn, we can do that. But yeah, why did you guys even come here for a business presentation? We'll start with you.
Well, I always knew that I've always wanted to do business ever since I was young, and I do plan on having my own business. I just struggle in knowing what concentration and I have so many ideas, I don't know which ones to focus on, so that's why I
Okay, awesome. And then let me just get yours.
Well, I took freshman year to figure it out. I took different courses.
Yeah, take your time for
And then I took principles of management with different years. And I loved it. I was like, yeah, this is what I want.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with that's such a big question, right? What do we want to concentrate on? And I think I'll pass it off now to one of you. Concentrations are important as well, because you've got to graduate with that business degree, but you have to specify in something. And I definitely want to say it doesn't limit you in what you can do. I concentrated in sports management, obviously because I love sports so much, but it definitely didn't limit me or hinder me in any of my experience in admissions work now, or even in my master's degree as well.
I think it helped, actually.
Yeah, it gave me a wider background for sure to continue to work off of. But definitely, to your part, G, do you see any concentrations that stick out to you or that you want to know more about?
What I was thinking, I don't know.
Would you like, we have part of today, and if it's okay with Dr. Arabasano, we can go a little bit out of order. I was going to discuss all the concentrations, and any of our faculty who joined us here, if they want to jump in on it, we can go through it, give you a little sense of it, and then we can do a little follow-up, see if you have any questions after that. If that would be good, to kind of let you know. Is that pretty workable?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think that's important.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you for the opportunity.
Yes.
Absolutely. If you ever need anything else, I got you.
I need $20.
Weird.
Again, for the jokes only get worse. So, thank you so much.
Come on in.
Hi, come on in. How you doing?
Good to see you. You just missed Andrew, but that's okay.
It's my man too. It's my man from Florida.
Andrew just talked about why you chose business.
Really?
But he probably told you that already, right?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Okay. So
Jay Gaylock. I was planning on doing business here too.
okay, so let me give you, this is a voucher for coming. We don't have live pizza because of the COVID stuff, but you can get a hot dog or hamburger and all that. This is a packet of information, and we're delighted you're here. Thank you.
And Jane, are you a freshman?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. And do you have any sense of what you want to do with business at this point?
Very rough sense. Like I have an interest in real estate.
Okay.
And I have a couple connections in real estate already.
Terrific. And commercial or?
I think I'm leaning towards commercial, but I kind of want to just try both.
And I'm sorry, I forgot your name. I'm sorry?
Leah.
Leah, so do you have any kind of sense what you want to do? Like you could get a business job tomorrow, what it might be?
sometimes sports.
Sports, all right. Well, that's my area, so I'm going to talk to that in a little bit. And Gianni, I know you're thinking more entrepreneurial, right? And yes, like your own kind of start. She's awesome, by the way. She's in my class, and you're willing to come today, and really stands out with great questions. She makes sure that I know what I'm talking about, and sometimes she catches me. So what I want to do for you guys is go over the different concentrations that we have, and also just a basic sense of how the program works. And anytime when I'm talking, please, if you have a question, raise your hand, say, hey, I have a question, or anything you want to follow up with, so really focus on that. And for our fellow faculty here, if there's a concentration that more suits you, I might defer to you to kind of answer those questions. One, I just want to talk to you about the degree in general. And if you guys see, here we have our 2 pages, so if you look at the checklist page there, I have it up online, you can get it anytime, but I just want to briefly discuss how it works, right? So you've probably, either with the freshmen, just been starting your core courses, right? You have 3 or 4 cores that you're working, and you have maybe 1 business class that you filled in now. And for you, you've probably done a significant number of core classes. Well, that's all really good, because especially if you wanted to come in a little later, having those done, you can start concentrating on our business area. The way we've set up our program, this is the BS in business. We also have an economics degree and an accounting degree, which we'll talk about. And I'm going to focus on the BS in business, where and BS stands for Bachelor of Science versus Bachelor of Arts. And how it kind of progresses. So the fact that you're doing the core now is great as you begin to do your business classes. So let's say this semester you did marketing and you haven't done management, it'd be a great time to do the opposite one. And then our prerequisite accounting course, our fundamentals, are 2 to kind of get you started. And we kind of roll you out through, you can see the different courses that you'll be building up to, business law. We have a required internship, but you can do up to 2 for credit. So that happens after your sophomore year ends, once you're a junior level credit, and we help to kind of guide you in the right direction. So if you're interested in sports, you can come speak to me and we talk about some opportunities, depending on what you wanted to get into. But oftentimes it's really good to do that second internship. One, it looks really good when you're applying for jobs, and also you get a better sense of what you like, and just importantly, what you don't like. You give it a try. You say, okay, thank goodness I did this internship because it convinced me I don't want to do this. When I was a younger student, I thought I wanted to be a sports agent. And I was lucky enough to have somebody who was a sports agent teach one of my classes. And I said, well, I don't think I want to be a sports agent. And I went in a much different direction. So the requirements here, what's also nice about our degree program, and I know, hey, you're just 2 out of 3 of you are just coming into school, but these courses can lead to, if you're interested, a master's of business administration, which opens a lot of doors for you, particularly if you want to work for a corporation or, move up a little bit faster. You heard Andrew Curiel did his master's just before, and how he was saying, these classes I learned here really helped me working towards the master's. We have a degree program called 4+1, where if you do significantly well in your coursework and your concentrations, which I'm about to get to, you can cut a year off of your 2 years of a master's. So in other words, you only have to do 1 year. Big cost savings and also time savings. And all the classes are assigned to you for it as well. So that's kind of like aspirational, like Andrew was talking about. That could be an aspirational goal for you to kind of set towards. These courses that you can see, the 2 for accounting, why are we teaching, why do you have to take 2 accounting courses if you don't want to be an accountant? Why are you taking 2 business law courses if you're not going into law? All of these have reasons, and the reason is to make you fully understand business from every angle. So it's not you're just really good at this one specific area, but you're going to know how a company works and how important it is for marketing to work with accounting, to work with finance, to work with the infotech people, and how that all kind of goes together. And that's kind of the reason that we've had it structured this way. Does anyone have any questions on this first page before I move on? All right, so let's get to these concentrations, right? So if you turn around and look at this back page here, I'm going to start to go through them. And again, when any faculty would like to speak up to it, we'd be more than happy to kind of take over for a bit. These, for most of you, probably won't begin until your sophomore year. And it might be late in your sophomore year, it might be second semester, so you might be thinking of it a year from now. And you choose one of these 6 areas. Now, Andrew had mentioned, which I thought was really good, well, what if I'm stuck between 1 or 2 of these? Well, there's a way to fit in a lot of coursework for both. So in other words, you could choose one concentration, and then on the front here, you'll see you have 6 courses of electives. You can use other concentration courses as your electives. So if you're really stuck between 2, take one, do the other ones as electives, and there you can have that kind of covered, right? So what do all these concentrations mean? I'll start with my area first. I actually cover 2 different concentrations, one in marketing and one in sports management. My background's in sports. I worked for a number of teams. I worked for Undecid. I worked for a football team that was based in Europe, Canada, and the U.S. I used to buy and sell memorabilia, put players in appearances. So I had, and I did a lot of events as well, a lot of event work. So that's kind of my range within the sports world. But what I try and teach students is how many amazing opportunities there are, not just here in the U.S., but around the globe. My Intro to Sports Management class, if you take it, you have to design a career plan. That's one of our final projects. And your career plan isn't, okay, what's my first job out of school? You say, hey, I want to be a sports agent someday, or a general manager someday, or run a team someday. What could you be doing right now? What would you be doing as soon as you graduate? What would you do after your first job? And we kind of go through that whole process to give you a sense of a pathway to get there. You can see the other classes in sports that we do. Next semester I'm teaching event production and facility management. How do you pay for all these great new stadiums and arenas that are coming out? In Los Angeles, they had a $5 billion complex just built where the Rams and the Chargers are now playing. They're also going to be hosting the Olympics in 2028. We're going to talk about how that all works and all the different kinds of business pieces to sports management. And there are a lot of them. The world is catching up with all of that. So we also, we do a debate class, which Andrew talked about, which is what we call our capstone, the final course you take, where we debate the issues in sports. So you learn how to debate, and then we'll discuss whether or not to pay the college athlete the performance-enhancing drugs. We did one on sports betting just before it became illegal. So literally 2 weeks after we finished our debate, it actually became legal. So that team was really excited for that side. The marketing concentration. A lot of students think marketing is really just about doing TV commercials. And it's my job to kind of express that, marketing covers all facets of bringing a product or a service to people. So we go through all that. We go through all the promotion. We go through the distribution. What store should it be in? How do you get there? If you want to eventually go overseas, how do you do that? If you're starting a business, you have to put together a marketing plan, figure out how you're going to bring your product out there and convince people who might want to invest money. So if you've ever seen Shark Tank, and people are out there trying to show these sharks, hey, you should invest with me, these are some of the things that we talk about and say, okay, you're giving a good rationale and explaining to them why it will be successful and what will be the pathway there. Besides marketing and sports management, I'd like to turn it over for just a moment to Dr. Avesano, who's going to cover our healthcare and our international business concentrations. Okay, so Dr. Avesano, if you wouldn't mind.
So someone else just joined us. Who is that?
Hello, everyone. How are you? My name's Jordan.
Jordan, that's what I thought you were.
Yes, I oversee the undecided students.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Jordan, for coming.
I come from Oxley.
Okay.
Integrated Advising Program.
And we're happy to have you. So if you look on the second page, turn the page over again, you look at international business, you'll see, actually, many of the courses in international business are taught by Dr. Ramirez. Let me take a minute and now that we've got our department here, you met Professor Rosenberg, this is Professor Manzi, I'm Dr. Avesano, we have Dr. Nickman, we have Dr. Campaya, and Dr. Ramirez. Okay?
So we're covered in case anyone breaks out COVID.
So accounting, I teach management and international business. Dr. Ramirez teaches economics. Dr. Raj teaches information systems. And Dr. Nickman teaches accounting as well, okay? So you've got to kind of meet this is our full-time faculty. We also have one member of the faculty that's not here, Dr. Meyer, and he's teaching remotely these days. So Dr. Ramirez teaches many of the courses in the international business area. They're dealing here with international political economy, marketing. The course is taught by, you teach the international marketing course, finance and trade. So we kind of share that concentration. Healthcare, and that of course is a big field, a very big field, because many, many companies are going global. So, and small companies, not big companies. You're talking about being in real estate business. Very big content to it is international elements. Healthcare management, that doesn't just mean working in healthcare institutions. It could mean working in pharmaceutical industry. It could mean working in the medical supply industry. All of the associated fields in healthcare. And all the people that teach in both of these are very rooted in their knowledge of healthcare international business, okay? Dr. Ramirez, did you want to add anything to the international business?
No, I have something to share with them.
Okay.
Later.
Okay, we'll let you do. So that would be the full scope then of those. And Professor Raj, would you like to talk about information management at all?
Yes, we have started to offer some new courses in information management. This coming semester we're going to offer a course on emerging technology. We're going to offer new courses such as information securities and analysis and design and things like that. So all the new courses that are coming up in the information communications.
So you hear things about cybersecurity, and you hear things about AI, and you hear things about all kinds of new and exciting things. That is the place you'll get the knowledge and information. Yes?
I'm really sorry, I have to go because I have to finish the bus, but I'll definitely see you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, Jim. Appreciate it. Okay, so with that, I think we'll turn it over to Professor Manzi.
Sure. Unless did anyone have any questions about what we've gone over?
Can I just share this with them
Please.
because it relates to.
Thank you. Okay.
I want to share with you this data, which will make you really think about going into business. This is published by the New York, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, which lists majors and the unemployment rate, median wage, early career, and the mid-career wage. Now you will notice that on top, I do this every year because they publish this every year. The top majors are engineering types. You know why? Why are engineers paid higher than all the other majors? Demand and supply. There's very few of them, and they're high in demand. So that's why they're paid higher. Now next to engineering all the time, you see there, are business areas. Business analytics, economics, finance, information systems, and so on, accounting, all these are offered by the business and economics, accounting, business and economics department. So if you take business as a major, you really are going to have an edge in terms of salary offers, and especially at the beginning, and the median wage mid-career salaries. Now, you have to be interested in business to go to business, but many students think about all the time before they get into a major, what is the potential of earning money? It's usually a concern of getting a job, earning money in this area of study. And as you can see here, business is always after engineering. Now, you will notice also that in the business areas, there are some fields of study which are more desired, and those really relate to areas where there's more structured thinking, more mathematics, more data analysis, and those are, as you can see there, data analytics, economics, finance, information systems, and accounting. Now, it doesn't mean that marketing is less desired. Of course not. But there are students who like to do structured thinking. Marketing is more creative, but I will tell you also, marketing now is heavy on data analytics. So you still have to learn the areas of study where it's required that you do data analysis, and that's critical. So anyway, all the other areas of study are below. Well, I really don't want to say below or less desired. Some students are history types, psychology types. Of course, take that. This is just one track where you can see that it seems like the world is ready to offer higher salaries. So anyway, I'm not going to belabor the point because it shows here, and it's every year it's the same study. And engineering is on top, business is on top, middle, and then the rest are at the bottom. Okay, thank you.
Do you want to talk about an economics degree now? Or this is all you want to discuss?
Well, economics is one of the degree offerings you have. And again, it's for a student who wants to do research, to teach, and also you can go into government policy making if you are an economics major. It's a field of study where you may want also to do a master's degree, because it's almost required that if you do a BA in economics, you have to do a master's degree. But it's another, as you can see there, another area of study where there's a lot of structure involved in learning the concepts, and some students like it. And think about it, it's probably what I'm saying. An economics major can go into almost any field of work, because it's just a preparation, again, to many areas of work in the business field, yeah, in the business arena. Okay, so anyway, as I said, I don't want to take too much time, but I like data, as you can see already. I don't like to talk too much, but I want to show data, and here it is. Okay, if you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to communicate with me. Yes? Thank you.
So speaking about an economics major that could do anything, Professor Manzi was an economics major in his undergraduate days many years ago.
Yes. And I can confirm what Dr. Ramirez has said. It does take an advanced degree. I graduated in I hate to say it actually, 1979. I graduated my undergraduate in economics, and luckily none of you were around in those, well, maybe we were, but you guys weren't. Things were pretty bad. Called stagflation. It was unemployment, high inflation, so I didn't get a job. So I went back and got my MBA in accounting, and which, because of course there was a lot more jobs than that at the time, as there are today. So let me talk about accounting. I'm more than 6 feet away, so I think I'm safe. And I also had COVID, by the way, and I lived through it. So we're going to talk about the wonderful world of accounting. A lot of what people talk about, they don't really get, is that accounting is not just playing with numbers, okay? Accountants are in all aspects of business, every area that there is. We'll talk about that later. So all businesses are the same. All businesses have products and services, as we all know. They all want to sell their products and services to make some money, of course. Profits equals selling price minus costs, no doubt about it. And here we are. We all want to participate in the American dream, looking to make some more money, be more comfortable, make our lives better. And that's what it's all about. What I'd like to tell you here is that accountants are in all of these industries, by the way. They're in sports, broadcasting, and by the way, I've worked in a number of these industries already. And when I started my career in public accounting, I didn't expect to go just be an accountant. I became a business guy in a lot of different areas, worked at a lot of different businesses, but I learned about these different areas by being in accounting and being an essential part of a business and learning how business operates. So that was the biggest benefit to me, being in accounting. All businesses are the same. They all have data and communication needs. That's why Raj and I work so closely together. A lot of what's going on today in the accounting world is actually the merging of various disciplines. Accounting and data management are coming closer and closer together because you use a lot of analytical tools in order to do your job. So many people that come out in accounting have to be much more qualified, and they learn a lot more about business and they become more valuable. And that helps drive, of course, the wonderful chart that Dr. Ramirez showed us. Business decisions cannot be made without good data. If you're making decisions and the data is not good, the odds are you're not making necessarily the right decision. You could potentially stumble onto the right decision, but without having the data that makes sense, it doesn't work. And accounting makes sure that the data is correct. And I always like to say, accountants create the framework to make the business world go round. And there's no doubt in my mind about that. Accounting is the center of all business knowledge. What do accountants do, really? They identify business events. They record them consistently so other people can use them, right? That's what makes it work. Because you need consistency so you can understand. They transform data into usable information. What I tell everyone is most of what accounting people are really doing is taking vast amounts of data and transforming into usable bits of information that we could use to make effective decisions, run our businesses better, and make more money. And of course, we communicate advice, right? Because in effect, by getting all that knowledge together, you're learning a lot. And as you're learning a lot, you're able to communicate that knowledge to other areas of the business. And that's a lot of what we do. So when we talk about jobs, I know Dr. Ramirez has some excellent statistics. Accountants represent the framework of a pillar of business information. They're looking for people in every area. There's three major areas I like to talk about. Professionals with accounting expertise are found in business, in government, and by the way, you talk about entrepreneurial and why we take a couple of accounting courses. In order for you to run your business, you have to make sure you understand if you're making money, you're not making money. And the first couple of courses that you take really are teaching you that. So we're not just talking about majoring in accounting. You can get a minor in business and get a lot of really good information to help you run your own business. Basically, the areas I'm talking about, all businesses have financial and operational functions within them. Every single business. And the reality is, where we live in this part of the world, most people are going into some aspect of business. And I've been in communication with many of our alumni, and what I find is, regardless of what their major was, whether it was communications or history or English or business, many of them gravitated towards business. And they benefited by taking business courses at our school. So it's always something you should think about. Companies that provide financial services, of course, are necessary. And of course, people don't realize how many people in accounting work in the government. All government operations need accounting people in order to run their businesses, to run the functions of government, and you'll see that all over the place, federal, state, and local. So before I play my little video, does anybody have any questions? What can I tell you? I'm not your typical accountant. I think you probably have figured that out by now. But accounting people really are people that are in the middle of business, in the middle of all operations. And that's the biggest benefit of a degree in accounting. I, of course, and Dr. Nickman will talk to anyone at any time if you're looking for additional information. I don't want to, bend your ear too much. I'm always willing to help you out if necessary, wherever you want to talk about. And all of us here are willing to talk to you about a career in business or anything. Actually, we'll give you your personal advice based on our. We have had a lot of business experience, all of us here. So we could definitely give you some perspective. Yes?
What's exactly like the difference between like accounting and economics? Because economics is like studying, I feel like studying the flow of money and all that. So it's like you're still paying attention to that, but accounting, you said, is kind of paying attention to all of that and whatever business.
It's an excellent question. And economics and accounting work very closely together. Economics is the theoretical basis for how the economy works and how various economic conditions work. Demand and supply, international business, all different types of things. Okay? Really, it's the overall framework of the world in economics. Accounting is taking information, transactional information, and transforming it into data that you could use. So the accounting people take a lot of the economic information that comes out of a business and put it into a usable framework to allow people to understand how it works. Dr. Ramirez, is there anything you'd like to add about economics?
That's wonderful what you just said.
Okay, thank you.
That's why I took economics, became enlightened and took accounting.
Is that clear? Because it's funny. So I teach accounting 105, fundamentals of accounting. And it's really fundamentals of accounting, finance, and economics. And it's a very good primer for students coming into the school to get an understanding as to how business operates. So you can see that there. Any other questions? I don't know if I should play this video. It's kind of a funny video. What do you think?
Is there any dirty words?
No! I did you notice I didn't curse at all?
No, you were very.
Right? Come on. I think you guys will appreciate this. I generally play this for all my classes.
How long is it?
It's about, let's see, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Can you want to save the 3 minutes for the evening questions?
Okay. students gave me this, and I can't resist it. I think it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But regardless of that, my message is very simple. I started out in accounting many years ago. I used my accounting knowledge and expertise, learned about business.
What comes to mind?
Oh, sorry.
Don't worry. This is not my course. I have something just a little more special planned for you.
So I used that accounting knowledge and business experience to do a lot of different things. I did not work in accounting the whole time. As you know, I don't work in accounting now. I do a lot of business advisement. I do a lot of internal controls work. I do a lot of mergers and acquisitions work. So I've been in a lot of different industries, and I learned it all by having a strong basis in accounting and using that as I went forward. And I'm happy to talk to you anytime, whenever you may need. Okay, thanks.
That helped, especially the video, right? That had a
That
movie.
was a very long 3 minutes.
It was a little long.
So, I don't know if anyone had, either of you have any questions, or, you know, where you're surrounded by faculty, it's probably not the most comfortable time to ask questions, but we're actually a harmless faculty, we're actually pretty good. We're located on, in Founders Hall on the 3rd floor. The main office is 334. So if you want to come by, if you decide you want to sign up for a major, we have all forms, everything you need to do. Jordan can help you with that as well, but come see us.
So, to declare, we have to go there.
Pardon?
We're going to declare, we go there.
Yeah, come visit and we'll sign the paperwork and you get to the registrar and to the Oxley Center and we'll get you all up to speed. Now, you're a freshman, right? So you could decide to declare now or you could wait. But it sounds like you already kind of decided, right?
Yeah.
So either way, no. Yeah.
If you're also, I don't know if you're undecided or you're trying to decide exactly what to do, but we do have an undecided information session next week on Wednesday. It's held in Benedict's Hall, and if you were an undecided student, you were invited to that, like personally, so you should have an email sent to you regarding that, and then also it's on Dolphinet. But that's a time too where you can learn a little bit more generally speaking about what majors are offered generally at the college, but then also how to declare your major. So of course this is the most helpful place to go in terms of if you're interested in business. And now you're connected with the faculty here and the chair of the department. But more so, I guess, systematically how you go about that process, which is really just declaring that major declaration form, which has to be approved by Dr. Aversano.
Usually what I do when students come to me with a form is we sit down for about a half hour or so. I don't just sign the form. I sit down and go over not only the process, but also what's available, what's the courses, and what the process is, and what you're thinking about, and kind of encourage you along the lines of what your areas of interest are. So we of course work with the Oxley Center very closely.
Yeah, and if you are undecided, you should be assigned to me as your Oxley advisor. My name is Jordan Anderson. So if you are still, I guess, figuring out exactly what you are potentially declaring as your major, depending on what year you are, if you're an incoming freshman or a first semester sophomore at this point, or maybe even later, which I believe you shouldn't be. But if you're still figuring it out in terms of what you want to do, generally speaking, Oxley is a good place to go to learn about just overall what there is and how to kind of connect you to different places on campus and different departments on campus.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, thoughts, questions? Just fun? Enjoy something? And you got a free hamburger or a free cheeseburger or 2 slices of